No hay poeta que haya alcanzado el virtuosismo de José Asunción Silva en este hijueputa país. Las acentuaciones, el ritmo, la música en 100 años no existen.
No más, el que es mejor que este.
¿Cuál?
El que se ganó el premio del bigote.
García Márquez.
Eso, García Márquez, él escribió El Alquimista.
El alquimista es de Pablo Coelho.
No.
García Márquez escribió fue 100 años de soledad.
Well, it's about a poet around 55, frustrated with his art. He failed in life, he's a failure, and but he's unemployed, he lives with his mother, and he finds a girl. He becomes a professor and finds a girl, and he thinks he can help her become a poet. And by doing that, he probably messes around with everything. I wanted to quit cinema. Like this is my second feature film. With my first film, I was a bit exhausted of cinema. Like it was so hard to make a movie, and I started thinking about quitting cinema. And then I thought, I'm also a professor, you know. So, what would I become if I give up on this stubbornness of making cinema? And maybe I'll be a frustrated professor when I'm old. So I decided that in order not to become that, I will make a film about my worst version in 20 years. And but I thought it was more interesting to make it about a poet, not a filmmaker, but a poet. So at the end, because I knew a bit the world of the poets in my city, so I say, okay, I'm gonna make a film about a frustrated poet, and that's how I started writing the film. I was close to the world of poetry through some friends, some people got me close to the poetry world. And I start attending like poetry readings and meeting these poets. And I thought, when I was looking at them, I thought, this is interesting, this can be a film. I mean, it's like funny, for me it was funny to see them like pretending to be big artists, but they're small and nobody cares much about them, but they are so passionate. So I thought these guys were really interesting to make a film about them. But I thought it was more interesting than doing I wanted to make a film about myself in a way, but I thought it was more interesting to make it about a poet because it's more aesthetically, narratively, it was more amusing, more tasty, I would say, yeah. I'm not a father, but I always thought that I will probably become one, and I was probably also afraid of being like, in Colombia, the prototype is to be a distant father. How do you call that? Yeah, like a stranded father, something like that. So I was just, I just wanted the character to have a lot of issues, to be failures, to be like a bad person, but still fragile. You know, I wanted to be like a bad father even, like a bad in everything, you know. But to give him hope a bit, so I can have a bit of hope as a man when I fail as well. So and I'm always moved by this relationship, father, daughter, or son. So through that relationship, I was trying to give him this humanity, you know. He cares for her, even though he is not the best father.
Sufrimiento. La penumbra. ¿Qué se podría decir de penumbra? ¿No sería acaso el crepúsculo del ocaso tardío a la alborada?
In the casting process, we wanted, I wanted a professional actor at the beginning, and I was looking for a professional actor. And then a friend of mine sent me the picture or the profile, Facebook profile of his uncle, and say, look, this is your poet. And it was his uncle, and I saw it was him, Weimar, and I we made him we cast made a little video of him, and at the beginning I wasn't sure he was the poet because he was very particular. He has this comic side of it, and I wasn't sure if I wanted the main character to be that funny. Well, I wanted to be funny, but not him itself. But at some point I just I could only see him at some point, like this is the poet, like it has to be him. I mean, it's him. And he changed the film. I have some ideas of the film in my head, but once he was the poet, he gave it the final shape of the film, because it's his way of talking, of speaking, of moving. He even changed dialogues of the script. He changed a lot of things, and the film became him. So, yeah, that was the.
Una noche toda llena de perfumes, de murmullos y de música de alas. Una noche en que ardían en la sombra nupcial y húmeda.
For this film, you mean, as a references? Yeah. Well, I like a lot. For me, the main one was Kiarostami, because he managed to talk about art, the arting process, through a very naturalistic and realistic style. I love, for me, Close Up was one of the biggest reference. I always thought that the poet was like the main character of Close Up from Kiarostami. But also he makes portraits of filmmakers, and with a very beautiful way. So I was always thinking that I wanted to make like a close-up film, like Close Up, you know.